Hello viewers and members of the World ATC LinkedIn Forum. Welcome to this presentation and appreciate your time as we share on this important topic of returning to normal operations. Let me introduce myself. I'm Benson, OSORO. I'm an air traffic controller at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport at approach radar position, working with the Kenya Civil Aviation Authority. And currently, I'm the president of the Kenya Air Traffic Controllers Association. Thank you very much and welcome as we deliberate on this topic today. Let me begin off by talking about the term normal. Normal originates from a Latin word, normalis, which means made according to the carpenter's square. And to me, what comes to my mind is it is about conforming to a given standard so that things will be the same as we expect them to be. In other words, we have an expected outcome, and then we say this is normal. This is usually what happens. And before COVID-19, the normal as we knew it and the normal post-COVID cannot be the same. Why do I say so? It's because the standards have to change. There are other issues which come in place post-COVID, because COVID-19 is a disease which was unexpected. It appeared, and remember, there's no cure and there's no vaccine for the same. And therefore, it has altered or it has changed the way we do our operations. Operations as we know them today, they are not the same as before the COVID-19. And therefore, we are looking at a new normal, a normal that would have COVID-19 as a major contributor to the way operations will run now and henceforth. There will be new measures which will be adapted in our operations to take care of the COVID-19 pandemic. And when we are resuming to normal operations post-COVID, there will be risks associated. Why? Because we are operating in a new environment. There is a change from the way we used to do things to a new way of doing things. And when there's a change, then risk comes in. Any change has risks. And as we transition back to normal, number one risk will be the human factors issue. Before COVID, we were dealing with the high traffic volumes and increased workload. After COVID, we are dealing with reduced traffic volumes and reduced workload. As we transition to the normal operations, then we are looking at an increase in traffic volumes and increase in workload. With that one, number one thing that will happen, there will be laxity. Why? Because of the low traffic environment operating in currently, and now we'll be shifting to high traffic environment. And therefore, they will be laxed because when we are at low traffic volumes operations, then there's some laxity. If that one is carried on when operations resume, then it is going to be a risk. There's the human factors issue. We are looking at a situation currently where there is low traffic and the workload is low, and therefore we are at a situation where there is somehow some monotony, some boredom. But when you go back to normal operations, we are increasing the traffic density, the workload is increasing, and remember, we are used to these low tempo operations, but when traffic builds up, then there will be fatigue, there will be stress associated with such kind of an operation, and therefore we have to look out that aspect of stress, look at fatigue as a major risk as we move to normal operations. Another risk will be equipment failures. During this time of low traffic density operations, any equipment failure will not have the same impact as when we have high traffic volumes. When we have such failures occurring post-COVID, when the traffic density increases and the workload increases, and then it's going to be a risk that will arise because you cannot afford losing equipment or an equipment failure when we are having an increased workload. And when we are transiting, we are looking at this transition to normal operations. How safe is it? In my opinion, the transition will be relatively safe. What do I say? Because we don't expect an abrupt change or abrupt increment in traffic volumes. It will be gradual. And if this one happens, and then the industry will adjust progressively as the traffic increases, as operations continue resuming normal. And therefore, I don't expect the transition to normal operations to be very much disruptive. However, in my opinion, it's better to hope for the best and prepare for the worst. So we will not say that it's going to be relatively safe, so let us relax and wait, see what happens. But it's the time that we prepare for the worst case scenario where we expect to be an increase, an abrupt increase in traffic volumes and workload. And therefore, it will be necessary to put some measures in place to prepare for such kind of an upcoming workload. And some of the things which ought to do include simulation training. Since during this time we are used to low traffic volumes, and we need to have simulation training to be able to simulate the high traffic density environment and increase workload, so that we can prepare, so that we can be up to speed when the real traffic situation comes in. The number two thing we'll do is maintenance. During this time when there's low traffic, we can make use of this time to do health checks for our equipment, do maintenance, and even upgrade our equipment so that we are not caught by surprise. Because as I said earlier, any failure now when there's no much traffic, the same failure occurring after traffic resumes, then the impact cannot be the same. Therefore, maintenance will be something which ought to be done at this time. We look at staffing levels. Before COVID-19, most NSPs and organizations we're talking of low staffing levels. And remember, if COVID takes 1 or 2 years to be contained, then in those 2 years, there will be staff will be retiring, natural attrition will take its course, and therefore it's not the time to relax. During this time is the time that we ought to plan ahead, plan as if there's going to be a resuming to normal in a short period of time and we reach peak. Therefore, it's important to plan for recruitment and training of staff to prepare for the reopening. Another thing that I suggest that can help us, since the work space will not expand, it is static, remains the same. Remember, during this time, because of the social distancing protocol, we had to thin the shifts. We had to reduce the number of staff within a shift. And when we open, when we come to normal operations, and there is an increase in traffic and the workload increases, that means we need more staff to occupy the same space like before. And remember, there should be social distancing, the same reason why shifts were thinned. Therefore, we can do something like reduce the working hours or increase the number of shifts so that we'll be able to distribute the workload and be able to manage fatigue and the stress. And finally, viewers, I want to be optimistic that this pandemic will leave us better and healthier. Before September 11th attack, security was not as sophisticated and did not receive much attention as it did after that. And after the September 11th, we can agree that the aviation security is improved and is much better than before. And I'm looking at the COVID, after the COVID-19, the public health is going to be much improved, and the traveling public and the staff are going to be safer and healthier than before. So we look forward to a vibrant industry in aviation, and we look forward to being better than before the COVID-19. Thank you for your time, and thank you for listening to me. God bless you.